So, the real secret behind the space treasure has been revealed, and it was that the whole of Mutaba Town is going to space, whether they like it or not. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today we're here to talk all things episode 26 of the Yugioh Go Rush anime series, the second arc finale. And what an episode this was. Again, we had some amazing usage of music. Plus, the animation looked fantastic. But before we talk about the episode in question, does winning by suddenly getting your third Monster Zone back, and thus making the duel equal an ass-pull win? Like, don't get me wrong, it was a high moment, plus we have Yudias beating Rovian. If we had Yudias beating Rovian with only 2 Monster Zones, this would have made Rovian look weaker. And we've seen things like shining drawers and action cards and whatever you call the 5D thing with the dragon signer appearing on their arm. We've seen things like that before. So, Yudias drawing the exact card that he needs, or, fabricating or getting his Monster Zone back isn't out of the realms of, madness. It simply isn't. But I want to know your thoughts. Did you like the way that Yudias won the duel? But with the reveal of the space treasure being the fact that the whole of Mutaba Town is a spaceship, this was a crazy reveal that made the duel feel a bit secondary, as we came out the episode only really wanting to talk about this revelation and the effects it could have on the series moving forward. And you know what? I think this twist was actually a brilliant one, as it breaks the predictable cycle of this new alien arrives in Mutaba Town. They're the new villain group. Instead, Mutaba Town are going directly to places with possible hostile people too, and eventually they'll have to hit the issues affecting Volgear, giving us a realistic way of everyone getting involved and helping our heroes out, while also keeping other characters we wouldn't think necessary relevant while we're actually on Volgear. Because, again, if we were still on Earth and we had to go to Volgear, would have to have a select number of people, where this way, with the ship flying in, or town flying in space I should say, we have a better way of making sure we can use every character possible at our disposal. Yes, okay, Mutaba Town can still get attacked while travelling through space. Plus, there is an issue of how the ship is controlled. We don't know who is controlling it, nor do we know how we can change its course or what course of direction it's going on. Plus, the mass panic from the people living in Mutaba Town now having to come to terms with them being in space. It's true, people will be worried, will be scared, wondering if they'll ever return home to see their relatives living in different parts of the world again. So, some people will need to have their kind of worries erased and their panic calmed. Speaking of which, I think the next episode with the Meeg-chan anime could be a great way to help calm the residents of Mutaba Town. So although the episode in theory could seem very fillerish, there might be some possibility that we could get some lore/needed world building involvement with the people of Mutaba Town kind of smiling and cheering, knowing that if they're being led by someone of, say, Mutaba Asaka's caliber, then they're reassured in the fact is they will get home, they will be safe, and they will be looked after. That's if Asaka makes an appearance in the next episode. So one thing I've been trying to figure out is how did Yugioh know about the true nature of the space treasure? And my new solution I can come up with is the fact is that it relates to the infiltration mission that he got Misako to go for him while she was disguised as a Rovian bandit. She, of course, being an alien from Volgear and of course feeding video/information to Yugioh, together they must have identified more than a few pieces of Volgear technology in the residency area, thus drawing up their theories and conclusions. That's kind of the new way I can make sense of how Yugioh was so informed about this situation. Now, I was wondering if I'd missed something at the start of this episode, as we ended episode 25 with the ship appearing and the alien hat reveal. but then we just skip right past that to continue the duel. I guess we'll know more in due time, but it does beg the question, why does Rovian want the space treasure? Does she know about the ship itself and wishes to escape the threat of the Great King of Terror? And I must not be the first person to say this, but if the ship is linked to the Great King of Terror and the Earthdemar, plus we know Yuhi has a connection to Earthdemar, then this is highly teasing the fact that Yuhi is the Great King of Terror. Right? Or could the Great King of Terror be the new teaser character that we see at the end of this episode? The character does look evil with his eyes and the tails kind of floating behind him, but I don't think they're actually tails. Instead, I think this is his monster and that they're just kind of teasing. After all, the series itself, Go Rush, very much enjoys their fair share of monster silhouettes. So, yeah. Interesting to find out though. Whatever it is, we're in space now, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of weird, crazy, friendly and helpful aliens appear. So, could we also get the reappearance of other summoning mechanics, like Maximum and Fusions? Mutaba Town wasn't a heavily developed town, so upon their space journey, I'm sure the town, its people, and of course the dueling style will need to develop and grow in order to adapt to the new surroundings and situations. As for the duel itself, this was so cool, and I love the animation on the Berserker Rovian segment. This was amazingly animated and hyped up both her character and the duel itself. Yudias played his role brilliant to give the duel that non-squash match feel and to give Rovian a great back and forth. I really liked how the series continued this element of the Odo twins having a telepathic link with each other and encouraging Yudias to focus on the duel while the other focuses on saving each other and helping the twins survive, basically. Now, Yudias' duel disc, the red one, wasn't ever a part of the bet attached to the duel, but it's interesting that Yudias never received it back after winning. I would have thought the Rovian might have ordered Yuna to have returned it. If that had happened, would Yuna have complied? Or would her kind of hatred towards the kind of being of what that duel disc stands for and is associated with override her kind of love and compassion for Rovian? Still though, this leaves that plot thread still open, so I'm sure we're going to get a Yudias and Yuna rematch in the future. Yuhi even gained more respect in my eyes for his heroics in this episode. I like seeing his determination to rescue his sister as he helps to further strengthen the bond between them. But it does also show a reckless side to his character. After all, we saw that he wasn't actually strong enough to catch her and hold her in an upright stance. But let's give him some slack, because you need to account for the speed and velocity that Yuumu was falling from when falling through the air. So of course, even if he was strong enough, he might not have been able to catch the recoil, as she just suddenly abruptly stopped mid-flow going downwards. But I think the main takeaway here is the fact is that Yuhi, he does things maybe without thinking, but his kind-hearted nature makes him do things that he knows that even he can't achieve. But he doesn't because he's worried and more scared of not being able to do anything at all. And I like that. He shows compassion, he shows kindness, and all round, they're decent qualities to have in a person. Side note, at least London isn't pure evil. After all, he was worried when Yuumu first appeared on the ship and when she was falling. Fun fact though, Manya keeps her dual disc in her hat, and that is a lovely thing, making her an even greater character overall. So yeah, overall this episode might have ended an arc, but it leads us into a galaxy load of possibilities to explore, and what will our heroes await in space. Will Rovian be more friendlier towards UTS after this bond of respect has now been built between herself and Yudias? And when will we meet London once again? I'd love it the next time we see London, we see the spaceship that he takes off in destroyed, and it looks like a battle has ensued, and he gets taken away. Because this would definitely hype up the villain slash group that destroyed the ship and took London away, when we need to eventually rescue London and meet back up with him. So, those are my thoughts on this episode. Let me know yours in the comments down below. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, hit that like button. Subscribe for more content from myself, and I'll be seeing you next time. Have a great day. Alligator, Matt Denit. Goodbye.